Hello and welcome again to one of our down and dirty mini movies. This is machine control video number 5 in the construction side in our short film help series, where I try to just bring you a quick demonstration of some of the Topcon products in the product portfolio. Today's title is Introduction to SiteLink3D version 2 with 3D MC. Now, introduction might confuse some people because SiteLink, some of the older people would know that it's been out maybe 10 years now in some version form of that. But with version 2 and also with 3D MC changing over time, especially cosmetically, the look and feel is going to be a lot different and with a lot more improvements. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what SiteLink is, it's basically a web interface enabling customers, dealers to remotely support all the machines out in the field. So some of the key features: basically your 3D client monitoring, site discovery. The machines just pull up on a site and they know what site they're on. We can sync data back and forth automatically. As-built is a big thing where you can basically run over the site and do an as-built logging. We can do real-time product summaries of what the machines have done for that day, that week, so forth, and you can do that in detailed reporting. And then one of the most important things is probably just site support of the machines out in the field. Some of the key features of support is just remote view of the machines all the time, remote control in, send files back and forth in real time if there needs to be a change, and then also if the operator is maybe inexperienced or just needs help, you can remote config the control boxes. Now, we're just going to touch on just the beginning stages of getting started with SiteLink. There's so much that can be explained with that, but we're just going to do a quick demonstration of getting started with that. And this is just a demonstration. For true training, I always want to point you back to the e-learning resources on My Topcon Now. Professional Services is the ones that really do the great job of creating the training material going forward. So without further ado, let's jump right in and get started. I like beginning from the Topcon positioning homepage. I normally just bookmark this one website because with one bookmark I can jump to most all of my apps right here, from Enterprise to SiteLink3D, Collage, My Topcon Now for my e-learning resources, and then also even if I need to register products or activate a license, you can do that all right here under the apps from the home page. So let's jump right into SiteLink 3D version 2. Takes just a second to load. And basically it should zoom in to your last job that you were working on, the last project you see right here, which was our demo job. So here's our demo project location. We're going to be creating us a new location and create us a surface right on this particular location here. Just to give you a little rundown of what we're looking at here inside SiteLink. Under the SiteLink3D, this is a tab that will drop down, and this is pretty much all your organization related links and so forth. Then you have a demo tab that's a drop down, and this is links that's more just site related. And some of these menu options here is also accessed through some of these quick options up here. Over here is a task manager. We'll be creating a task here in just a moment. Over here is where we can import our files. Maybe later we can get into metadata. Report manager. Probably definitely will be doing a video on support desk later on. Now while we're here, underneath your name you have a little person icon, and if you'll click that, you can see the organization that you're currently logged in and your service points that are available for that organization. You may be like me, have multiple organizations. Just make sure you're in the right one that you're working in. If you're not, you can sign out. When you sign back in, you have an option to choose what organization that you're supposed to be in. Over here on the left, we're going to be getting into some of the map overlays. We won't be touching on any of the statistics for the haul trucks and so forth, or the equipment statistics going forward. So we're going to begin by actually creating a new site, and then we'll bring in the file and we'll create our import our service, and we can look at that right here. So I'm going to go under the SiteLink tab and create us a brand new site. And from here, we'll just give it a site name, and I'll just call this MC05 because that's the name of this particular video we're doing. And a lot of this information will populate automatically, but we do want to choose a location so we can find this on the map later on. So we'll click this little pick location icon, and we're just going to drop us a little marker right here. Now it populates the latitude and longitude. If that looks okay, just green check OK. And then it automatically populates the time zone for your location. And if you want to, you can change your units from imperial to metric. We'll leave that on imperial. Let's click next. Now it's going to ask and give you an option to bring in the localization. So if the surveyor went out there, or anybody performed the localization, and then you want to bring that in, it was going to give you that option to load that at this time in the form of the TP3 file or GC3 file. Now you can just hit browse, or we can just drag and drop. So if you bring up your Windows Explorer and navigate to where your files are located, you can just grab your file and copy it right in. Now if you do not have a green bar, that means the particular file you basically just chose does not have a localization. So once that's imported in, let's click next. And then it's asking for a site access key. Now if you bring a dozer to a job site, and once you enter the geolocation, whatever's fenced in, and it identifies this as a site, you probably don't need this information. It will fill it in automatically. But for my demonstration on a computer, I'm definitely going to have to type that information in. And then you got to give it an access code. It's going to be a 6-digit number. And I'll just type in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros and a 6 for an access code. And I'll be using this a little bit later. That's about the only thing I really need to fill out for this demonstration, so I'll click next. And basically it says, congratulations, your site is ready to use. So we'll left click complete. So basically all we did was create just an empty site. There's no data in here. It's just a site name with a location. And if I didn't mention this before, this is not really geo-referenced to your coordinates by any means. It's just a way for us to get us close to the location where our job's at. That's the only identifier that's really meant for. So with the site selected, what we need to do is extract our layers and our surfaces out of that TP3 file. Now, we can go under the site related column here and go to File Manager, or you can just hit the quick File Manager. But if you don't have the icon set in here that I'm seeing, you can just choose File Manager. But you want to select this particular file, and then you have icons here to import different regions, import design objects, that's your layers and surfaces and so forth, localization. What we'll do is we'll do a couple of these. We're going to extract our localization and bring that in to our project. And then also I'm going to import the design objects. Now if you notice here, you have 31 layers in this particular TP3 file. And maybe I don't need all of them. I can go through and pick out what I need. I've got 5 alignments. And depending on the task that we're going to be setting up for our 3D MC dozers, maybe you don't need all these areas and so forth. So you can pick and choose that. Or you have some filtering process once you bring it over. I'm just going to bring everything over. I don't know that you need to check these boxes now once they're on the right hand side, but I will import these into our particular project we're working on here. And basically what it does, it just uses the clouds to extract all this data out, and we can have more visibility of individual alignments, surfaces, and so forth. Instead of just one TP3 file, we can kind of manage what we want to do. We can just close this window out. So with all the data extracted, what we want to do is take that data and build specific little sets of data for individual machines or people, depending on really what they want to do out on the job site. So I'm going to go to the map overlays, and we're going to create us a new design set. I'm going to hit the gear here, and here is all the data as it is extracted, and it does create a default design set, but we are going to create a new specific one. It's going to ask for a name. I'm going to call it just building design set. Okay. And then I'm going to choose what I want to be in this particular set. Do I need lines, and where do I need to get them from? Do I need points? And you can just go down through here and choose everything that and whatever you would need. This is simple for me. I just need this one surface that I'm going to be working on. So I'm going to move it over to the right and click Save. So now I have a building design set listed in our set manager, and I can close out of here. Next, I can go up to the design set objects and expand this, and notice that it's in the list here, it's populated. And if I expand this one more time, here's our 10 surface. And it's not visible because the little I is kind of crossed out and it's red. But if you check that and turn it on, then that will populate your 10 surface on the map. So let's close out of the map overlays for just a second. Now the next thing we want to do before we bring our dozer onto this job site is give this dozer a task. We want to give him the task of laying out this particular surface. So I'm going to go up to this icon here for Task Manager. If you notice here we have a default task that was created when we created our project. We could actually edit that, I guess, if we wanted to and give it some information, but we'll just click New and create us a brand new task. And let's just call this one Finish Grading. Just any name you want. Next, we need to pick us the design set that we're going to be using. And here's our building design set. We'll move that over to the right and then confirm that we're using that. Now next, you can choose different information that you want to use inside this design set. We don't have any alignments, and we only have one surface. Now if you have a design set that has multiple surfaces in it, you can leave all those and you'd see all of them listed here, maybe all 5, and the operator would see all 5 and can choose between them. But if you're assigning a certain surface to a particular machine, you could probably just choose that surface and then lock that for that particular client. So this is the only one he would see. Since we only have one, it doesn't matter if I have this locked or not. That's all they're going to see is this one particular surface. And then if you want to put in maybe a subgrade cut for them, you can drop that down a foot, and we won't worry about the rest of this for this demonstration, and we'll save this particular task. And now we have our finished grading task that the 3DMC dozer can choose. Okay, now before we bring the dozer in, I want to change the view of this just so we have a better representation of the dozer moving along this particular job site. And one thing I did not show you, and let me show you this too. Navigation help gives you ideas as far as how to rotate, pan, zoom this particular map, either by mouse or by touchscreen. Okay, so I'm going to go up to this globe right here, and just in this example I'm going to turn on OpenStreetMaps, and then if you check this particular box, it's the only one that I found will allow me to rotate this particular job in this direction. So you can zoom in and out, pan it around, move it, and so forth. So we'll leave that right there for this example. Now let's jump over to 3DMC. So here I've got our 3DMC dozer emulator configured, ready to go. It's in simulation mode. We'll walk through here. And the first thing I want to do is log into our SiteLink, that particular project that we're working on, the MC05. So I'm going to go to Data, and I'm going to choose Sites. And if you look here, here's the particular sites that we have, and I do not see MC05, so I have to add that. Now if this was on a USB flash drive, a TP3, I could probably just go to New Local Site and pick it. But this is an existing 3D site. So I'm going to choose Existing 3D Site, click Next, and it's looking for a Site Discovery ID. Okay? So what we need to do is get that, and I didn't ever show you that before, but we can jump right over to here and come down to Site Information. And what we want is this particular number right here to tie in. So let's type that in here real quick. Okay. And then the access code. Do you remember what that was? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now let's see if this works. Successfully added SiteLink site. So we can click Finish. And click OK. So notice here we have this icon beside a few of our projects here. So this is a SiteLink project. This one is. This one is. These here are not. They're not tied to SiteLink. So we'll highlight the MC05 now and click OK. And now we have our dozer here. The next thing we want to do is define this site that we're working on. So we'll go back up to here, go to Data, click on Sites. I'm sorry, not a site. It's actually the task. We want the task. So there's none here, so we'll click Set. Here's our finished grading that we created. We'll click OK. If we had materials, different things, and again, if you had multiple surfaces, you could choose multiple alignments, but we're just working off this one surface. So left click OK. So here it puts us on this particular site. I don't see my dozer yet. And let's start moving the dozer. And now we can track our dozer on our
site through SiteLink as the dozer is working in real time out in the field with 3D MC. So this is definitely the power of SiteLink, to be able to see the machines moving along the site. All right, and that will conclude this demonstration. So thank you for watching this video introduction to SiteLink. I hope you learned something from that, and if you have suggestions for other videos, please reach out to me and we'll see what we can do. Thank you.